is a fixture loaded with history. 135 years worth of raw-bone contests, jam full of heart-stopping moments, high controversy, sensational rugby. It's Derby Day on BT Sport. And just for 80 minutes, I think the peace and goodwill of the season will be at something of a premium as Tom Stevenson takes it in, and Wilson is poised over the ball. Had such a good game last week against Treviso. Switched from fullback to fly half when the game had opened up. Not the best of kicks, but a bounce that allows the first line out of the game.
Two from each team.
I don't think anyone wanted to catch that ball, did they? Expecting a huge hit to come in, and no one wanted to be the man that took the ball with no momentum going forward. Bounces harmlessly into touch. And this will be a big area, I think. Tom Young's, although Leicester have picked a very aerial, combative set of forwards, Northampton very good in that man going up Christian Day, one of the best at it.
So an obstruction in the line-out, and the Saints have the opening penalty of the match.
2 men in front of the ball carrier.
Some quizzical looks from the Tigers pack, who have been developing their snarl as the season has gone on. Of course, they had that wobble in late September, early October. That hasn't found touch. Here's Matthew Tate.
That got a deflection, so maybe not just a poor clearance, according to the officials. So Northampton get their first opportunity to set up one of the strong parts of their game under the tutelage of Dorian West, their driving line-out. One of the reasons Leicester will have picked these good line-out defenders is to try and stop them at source.
Courtney Laws has it. Fotuali'i feeds Myler. It's held back for Pisu, who goes again, bouncing off the tackles. Laws stopped on the gain line by Piling and Crane. Jeff Piling really relishing his rugby again after that concussion layoff. But here come the Saints, and Stevenson brought into the side due to the late withdrawal of George Pisu. Manoa off the bench last week and caused total mayhem. Laws again, getting his hands on the ball nice and early and working hard to present it for Fotuali'i. Wide they go, Wilson to Pisu. The tackling is strong. Hartley. Lifted legs. The referee doesn't like it. Penalty awarded. Fotuali'i is away. And linking nicely with Myler. Manoa round the outside. Here goes George North. Straight through Matt Tate. And the tackle is a very good one from behind from Owen Williams. Absolutely had to be. Fotuali'i. Show of the ball to the blind side. All out attack from Northampton in these early stages. Burrell, no way through, but he's close. He's very close. And then Youngs steals it. Williams pops it away. And that's the decision here from JP Doyle. There's been a knock-on from the Tigers.
Wow, brilliant play. Manoa going around the back. It's good leg drive. They tie the numbers in. And a little bit of a tip there. The referee gives the penalty, quick tap. Watch Manoa and his line. Fotuali'i sharp as ever. And Manoa gets through the gap. The winger steps up. Great cover tackle from Owen Williams. But then look at this from Fotuali'i. He goes the wrong way. He doesn't panic. And he ties in 3 Leicester defenders. And then Ben Youngs, very, very sharp.
So the first scrum of the game, it is the Saints who have the heavier pack. And a menacing front row on each side. This is a heavyweight collision in every sense of the word. Cole having come back from a neck injury last month. 10 months on the sidelines and
do not stand up and start
making up for lost time.
Him. Okay, get your knees off the ground. Both of you get your knees off the ground.
I'm pretty sure JP Doyle wouldn't want the first scrum of the game to be on the Tigers or on either line. Both sides trying to impose themselves with that first collision. It goes down.
Bind. Set.
Both of these sides, of course, priding themselves on their set-piece power, and it's the Tigers who drive hard and win the ball, and Scully is away with it. Huge disappointment for Northampton as the ball is cleared long over the head of George North. That's a fabulous clearance kick.
Well, that's a perfect exit strategy, but it's from somebody else's scrum. That's the benefit of playing quickly away from a scrum shot into Leicester's side. Quickly away from Crane, and then I think that kick demonstrates just how strong this breeze is. Leicester playing down the slight slope here at the Gardens with wind behind. They'll really want to spend the majority of this half in Northampton's half with their own possession. Otherwise, it could be a long afternoon for them.
So back inside their own half. And Hartley, the ball stolen by Croft. Another one who's keen to make his mark after so long, frustratedly watching from the touchline. Crane. It's a scrum and a line out now to the Tigers as the hits fly in. Laws absolutely levelling Williams. Trademark Courtney Laws. Williams again, straight back up on his feet. Here goes Allen, lovely break from Anthony Allen, linking nicely with Kitchener, darting over the bodies. Youngs, again in behind George North. Croft, he's got his man.
I see Croft making the tackle then. He made a really good steal at the line-out. But Christian Day makes a slight mistake because he steps too far into the line himself, and it means it's an easy ball for Croft. See that step into the line? It's an even contest. Then a really good break. Owen Williams took a hit from Courtney Laws, but then a little bit of disguise on the pass. Everyone thought that was going to go behind Anthony Allen's back. They drifted off him, but that's the hit. You can show the ferocity and intensity of the Northampton Saints line speed.
Number 8, breaking 2 metres before the ball is thrown.
So a little bit of a let-off here for Northampton. Salesi Mafu is down at the moment. And of course, who was sent off in the semi-final back in May for the haymaker on Tom Youngs. He's become a very important cog in the wheel. Rumours this week that he might be headed for Toulon as well, as Castro draws towards the end of his career, but Saints will be desperately keen to hang on to him. And there's the boss man who's been able to prepare for this fixture in very different circumstances to Richard Cockerell. Last 3 matches, London Welsh,
we're on time off.
and then the double-header against the Italians, Treviso. Compare and contrast with Richard Cockerell, who's had the European champions on a couple of weekends.
And that can work both ways for you. Certainly your body's rested a little bit and you can try 1 or 2 things out, but that absolute cold-faced, battled, hardened edge won't quite be there. Leicester certainly will feel that.
This line out has gone Northampton's way, and it's Day who drops on it. Waller taking it up to the 10-metre line. Nice quick ball to work with. Manoa across the gain line. Myler sends it high and wide, and PC chasing. It's cleared the lot of them.
It's that last line out. I think Graham Kitchener was calling the line out, actually. You'd expect Parling to be, but it's a miscommunication. You'd expect Parling to be, but actually, when Kitchener's been playing and Parling hasn't, the line out stats have been better for Leicester. And obviously, Richard Cockerell wanting to try and keep that continuity. Didn't work there. Another opportunity for Youngs and Kitchener to combine, but this Northampton defence is really strong.
Parling climbing highest of all.
Ball available.
Youngs under pressure from Afu, gets the kick away. He's worked really hard on that kicking game, Ben Youngs, one of the elements that has helped him regain his England shirt. There's good distance on that from Fotuali'i. Here's Williams, who's made himself a fixture in the Tigers setup. Another good clearance from a young number 10, making big strides. Had a slight wobble last week, didn't he, Ben, in Toulon, Owen Williams, but came back strongly, and he's shown a real resilience in recent weeks, not just with late kicks to win games, to draw games, but also to bounce back from disappointments out of hand as well.
Yeah, he's so young. I think the impressive thing has been that it hasn't been perfect this season, but as you said, that Toulon game at home to at Welford Road. He threw that intercept pass, but came back in the second half and was outstanding.
Here's Luther Burrell, clattering forwards. Christian Day. Myler. Wilson running a nice line, but shackled by Smith and then stolen by Scully. Cole. Crane. Youngs. Salvi to Williams. Croft in the open spaces on the outside, just how he likes it.
Really smart defence from Courtney Laws there. Didn't go forward, you know he's tempted to go and make the big hit, just drifted off. Stayed with Croft until he knew it was a one-on-one, and Croft did as well. He had to duck his head in.
So a big lead already for Saracens against London Welsh. Vunipola, Sharman and Cruz, the 3 tries so far. Tim Squeals kicked a penalty for Quins early on against the Chiefs. That's not the Chiefs, that's Harlequins against Newcastle. Chiefs beaten last night, of course, at the AJ Bell by Sale. Terrific display from Steve Diamond's team.
Jumper.
So giving away a lot of penalties in that facet. Need to be a little bit careful. Don't want to get in the referee's mind that...
Who was the jumper? Yeah, who went up?
Going up that hand initially from Kitchener.
Give.
Just grabbing the arm of Laws.
Callum Clark on the ball, Parling trying to disrupt. And Croft, they've held him up nicely, and
once Tom Youngs gets under the ball, it becomes really difficult to drag it to the floor. Great work initially from the big tall man who went up. Croft went through the line out with his jump and just stayed there. Such a tight battle in the line out, isn't it? Both teams want to get their driving play going and stamp an air of dominance there. Neither side getting much from the opposition defence at the moment.
just the 3 Premiership starts in 19 months for Tom Croft, who's been plagued by injury, but we all know when he's fit, he's world class. Another good nudge here from Leicester, enough for a penalty.
Number 1 hinging on retreat. Number 1 hinging on retreat.
The legs going, didn't he, Cole? Waller accused of hinging at the hips because he was going backwards.
I spoke to...
That's why Cole ended up on his stomach. Let's have a look here. Gets that initial drive. You can see his arms down there, trying to recover and get the arm up. So much weight going through him. And then, as the referee said, he just pulled his head towards his knees to lower Cole to the ground.
There's the England coaching staff, or some of it. Andy Farrell alongside Graham Rowntree. A host of players to keep their eyes on ahead of the Six Nations starting in February. Owen Williams himself on the fringes of Welsh selection, you feel. A good strike, but always curving away. He's been in great form. A lot of points recently. Man of the match against Toulon in the home fixture. Of course, that huge kick to win from within his own half right at the death. But off target with the first here this afternoon. Matthew Tate. Manoa gathers and sets off on a gallop, looking for the offload. Fettueli, he gathers it. Parling very quickly up on Dylan Hartley. Italy again, keeping the defences honest. Laws to North, carving through the middle. We saw that from a very similar position a week ago against Treviso. Against a very different opposition, of course, but North able to conjure something from nothing.
Just such a lack of panic around the breakdown for the Saints. If something's not quite on, they don't panic and try and ship the ball on. They just go in a different route. Absolutely brilliant. That's confidence in the team.
Mafu at first receiver. Laws gets the offload away, and George North had just gone a step too far.
Confident to come back down the blind side. That's twice Northampton have changed direction. This time it's Celesi Mafu playing at fly up, but it doesn't really matter. Shirts on your back these days. Forwards encouraged to move the ball through their hands. Good to see Dylan Hartley carrying the ball strongly into the middle of midfield as well. It's a part of his game that we haven't seen too much of in the last, probably this season, really.
Leicester really struggling to deal with the Northampton big guys' ability to step. We saw Manoa step out of that high kick and make yardage. We saw George North step and make yardage. Courtney Laws step and make yardage.
Parling again, the man the Tigers go to in the line out.
Use it.
A lot of hard grappling done by Dan Cole. He's done well. Made a useful couple of metres as well. He's set up the position for Young's kick. George North. Taken down by Crane. To Northampton trying to get the ball away. The Tigers flying over the top. Croft gathers it. Williams is away. There's space here for Smith. Gonover on the outside. He's the danger man. Stevenson. Back in field to Matt Smith, just 5 metres short of the try line. Parling, orange shirts flying forwards.
While all the Northampton defensive line have been involved in a fight back near the original breakdown, they weren't there. That penalty's probably done them a favour. It's all kicking off again. Smith goes down. In comes Tate.
Tate and Burrell involved in an altercation. It all started some time ago. Long way back inside the Tigers' half.
I think it came about from that turnover. And I think a lot of the Northampton fans thought Salvi went off his feet as the ball went away. All the players who were left on the floor after that were still brawling.
Not now.
Leicester made good ground. They were in the corner. They thought they were ready to go. Northampton had no defensive line because they were all still fighting.
Our starting point.
Give away the penalty and it all kicks off again.
Penalty here, okay? Right? Something's happened here. It's 15 is then the ignition on it of what's ever happened here. Okay. So have Sean have a look. Sean, it's JP.
Come on then, Sean. Let's have a look. I think you've got a bit to look at here as well. Sean Davey, our television match official today in the truck.
The two players on the goal line. Okay? After the whistle, the two players on the goal line.
Going in off his feet there. The turnover. Mafu comes in late because he's taken offence. And funnily enough, Tom Youngs and Mafu go at each other. We've seen that before.
Okay, sorry here, JP. They're showing one about the
Now it's a proper
line.
derby.
No, I want the goal line. Can we get rid of that,
we're
please?
going to move on to that.
Get rid of that, please.
Oh, that's bad. Takes offence to Smith coming in and clearing him out. It's a really good technique. And oh no, it's Dylan Hartley. Looks to have all died down and the elbow comes up.
It is a combustible fixture, and Dylan Hartley has been known to be combustible in the past. We don't need too many reminders of the red card in the final from 2013. Matt Smith going straight down like a sack of potatoes. And Hartley was being held.
He was.
Okay, Sean,
and he'd been pushed through the contact.
Tell you what
You just can't react like that.
Okay, so the players in the goal line, they're holding each other, and number 2 has lashed out.
Correct.
Okay? I don't believe it to be anything more than a yellow card. Can you?
Right, I want you to see this again, JP. I'm going to slow it down on that angle, okay?
Can you keep it at the same speed, please?
I will do.
Yeah, there the TMO wanting the referee to have another look.
Well, he stayed very calm in the semi-final back in May, JP Doyle. There was all kinds of things breaking out around him. He's going to need to keep a cool head here as well. Doesn't look good.
Doesn't. In some respects, I don't know whether JP Doyle should have asked to have seen
John,
it in
okay, JP.
normal
That's
speed.
the side of his forearm into the player to get him off him, but it's foul play.
It is foul play.
Okay, so I'm looking at yellow card. Do I need to upgrade that?
I believe that's an elbow to the face.
You believe that's an elbow to the face? Okay.
So is he going to upgrade it?
So Sean, I'm going red on this, yeah?
Here we go.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Dylan
Okay,
Hartley
it's an
is
elbow
about
to
to
the
be
face.
sent
Red
off.
card. Red card. Can't elbow to the face.
Saints lose their captain, just as they did in the 2013 final. Dylan Hartley will play no further part in this match.
If anyone runs
What
in,
drama.
they leave.
History repeats itself for a completely different reason this time. There's all sorts of stuff going on there. Players right on the edge, firing into rucks, going hard at each other. Has Matt Smith got the right to go in there and clear Dylan Hartley out and grab him? No, probably not. But you can't swing your elbow up and backwards towards somebody's face. Because as soon as a TMO goes back, they have to implement the letter of the law.
The water
That's what
boys
he's
are
had to
looking at
do.
each other now.
It's unbelievable.
Dorian West is apoplectic. He has not been at all happy as he discusses the situation.
More space on the tight head. Tight head. More space on your side. No pre-engagement. Loose head. Loose head, Leicester. No pre-engagement. More space on your side, please.
Goodness me.
Yeah. On his side.
Well, the game was bubbling along from the first kickoff. We haven't seen anything spill over, and it just took probably a little bit of annoyance from a couple of breakdowns, and now becomes an awfully long time to spend without not only one of your players and your captain, but a real talisman for the Saints.
And of course they're going to have to sacrifice somebody, because for scrum time and line out they need the hooker. They need Mike Hayward.
Hooker. Ready for a hooker. Who's off, please?
Clear cut Paul Grayson for you or not?
Well, he wasn't missing. It's very difficult for people to understand how
Who's gone
pumped
off?
up these lads are, how
Who's
big
off?
a deal this is, how frustrating it is to get hit when you're not looking, to get grabbed from behind, to get generally pushed towards an active ill-discipline. But that's what separates players at the very, very top level. You just can't afford to react, and that, unfortunately, gets worse the more times you watch it.
Well, before this match, I had a word with Jim Mallender, the Saints director of rugby. I said, do you, on occasions like this, have to pour a bucket of cold water over your players ahead of kickoff? Can they get too overexcited as we see Tom Stevenson making way to allow for Hayward to come onto the field? And he said, yes, absolutely you do. We need 15 players on the pitch at all times. We have learnt through experience that you cannot beat them with 14.
Well, it's disastrous for Northampton at this scrum now, because Leicester had just started to maybe feel they were getting an upper hand. We saw the last penalty at the scrum go Leicester's way. Now Northampton can't afford to drop someone off the scrum to defend the back line. So we've seen George North come out into the centre to replace Stevenson. You know Leicester are going to try and go route one initially. They'll go for the scrum again here.
Pre-engaging.
62 minutes of the match remaining, a man down for the home side.
Come here.
The surface is causing trouble as well at scrum time by the looks of things. Well, Hayward has been a outstanding stand-in for Dylan Hartley whenever he's been called upon. He offers a similar kind of dynamism in the loose, if not quite the same amount of power, you feel, getting over the gain line, but he will do a more than adequate job in the set piece. But the Tigers now will be looking to strike.
You just see there that as it span round, Dan Cole tried to drop the bind and just go straight through. The Northampton back five almost facing towards the stand, and Cole tried to slip them and go forward. Massive pressure, huge for poor Mike Hayward, coming off the bench fresh to the first impact, having to defend the line. Ben Young's probably delay this put-in just to make sure that Northampton can't just hit and run, try and destabilise it.
Another hefty shove from Jordan Crane is controlling it. There's the penalty.
It's good play from Cole, because you can see what Northampton are trying to do, and rather than just follow them around, he's standing still, and as I said, dropping that bind and going forward. It just becomes more obvious to the referee.
Doesn't work like that.
Tough day at the office for Alex Waller, just got a whole lot tougher.
And Northampton replaced a forward for a back to maintain 8 and try and keep parity at least up front, but it doesn't look like they've got that at the moment.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Once again, the surge. And there, I think the decision, an early one from JP Doyle under the posts. It's a penalty try. Dylan Hartley off the field, and the Tigers with the first points.
Well, it's obviously not going to be popular within the four walls of this ground, because it's been such a big decision. But in terms of refereeing this scrum, there were 3 scrums, and every time something happened. You can see there, just rolling that right shoulder down. So as soon as he felt the movement, chased the movement and accentuated it and pushed the man underneath.
And it's easy for the ref when the scrum's moving forward, isn't it, Ben? As soon as they get 6-8 inches forward, then a penalty comes. It's obvious who's giving it away.
So they're making it pay on the scoreboard. Dorian West still not happy with the decision, but I don't think you can argue with the way JP Doyle has responded there.
I think the key thing now is for Northampton to try and play a bit of territory, camp down in the Leicester 22 and take the sting out of Leicester's psychological lift they've just had from the last 5 minutes. Not try and do too much, but just stay down here.
Taken in by Graham Kitchener. Youngs, who's been probing nicely with those kicks from the base. Wilson feeding PC. Trying to find a small hole to go through. He's done very well to get up almost to the 10-metre line. Manoa. A lot resting on the senior men now in the Northampton ranks, with Hartley absent. Clark feeds it on to Wood. Myler. Loose. Myler has to rescue the situation. There are orange shirts everywhere. It's gone forwards. And after a bright opening, nothing really going the Saints' way. 7 points to the good, the Leicester Tigers. Let's have a word with their director of rugby, Richard Cockerell. Richard, drama guaranteed in this fixture, isn't it? For you, a straight red for Hartley. Was that an option you agreed with?
Well, the laws say if you strike someone in the face and you make full contact, then it's down to the referee to decide. I mean, we've seen it been yellows. He's decided it's a red because it's intentional, so it's up to him.
And the opening 22 minutes or so, what's your take, other than the incident itself? What's your take on how your team have been going about their business?
Oh, it's been pretty even. I mean, Saints carry the ball well. We've talked about being aggressive at the D-line, and trying to stop them get momentum. And, you know, when we do that, we're OK. When they get momentum, they're a good side, as we've seen.
And at scrum time, you look to have the measure of them by the early exchanges.
Well, you know, it's a hard one to judge. You know, we've just got to keep playing and just do what we do and keep every scrum as honest as we can and make sure everybody's having to work as hard as they can.
Thanks for your time, Richard.
Cheers.
Here come the Tigers again, and Salvi's on the ball over halfway. Young's recycling, and everybody in Saints shirts having to work just that little bit harder, with Stevenson no longer in the midfield, having been sacrificed. Looking to work that short side where there is a bit of open space. Wilson is back there to cover, lying a little bit deeper within the 22. This time, some respite.
Six legal threat.
I just think that we heard a bit of an ironic cheer from the Saints fans with that penalty. Just JP Doyle lets a lot more go at the breakdown than a lot of referees, and I think they feel that's caused some of the problems for them today. We saw Salvi going off his feet, and that was allowed to play on. We saw the long clear out from Smith that Hartley reacted to. But to watch Tom Young's here, look how long he stays in this tackle. Just lies there, just that enough time to cause problems, and then he rolls. Now, a lot of referees would have given that as a penalty. It slowed Northampton's ball down. They're all gesticulating to the referee about him. But they've just got to get on with it. Some referees referee in different ways to others, and you've got to be able to combat that, take the referee out of the equation.
Potwilli testing out Scully. Gets North. Potwilli, the advantage is there with the Tigers failing to roll away. A little bit of width there, but Manoa cuts back in field. That was high. And the penalty is coming, but Saints continuing the motion through Burrell.
Playing advantage now.
Well, Scully's down, and his wing's only marked by Croft. Wilson's calling for a crossfield kick. Leicester need to be careful they don't get too tight at the breakdown.
Christian Day making excellent meters up towards the 22. Picked up by Manoa and spread wide. Laws, Hayward in the line. Lovely line by Wilson. Digs it through, and he hasn't quite got the bounce of the ball. Looking for that to be fed into touch just inside the flag, but they will come back for the penalty earlier for the high tackle.
Wilson knew he had a free shot, steps inside, Parling flings an arm up. See, he's over-committed to that. Jeff Parling tries to throw the arm inside. It's high. Penalty's there. Wilson knows as he comes around the corner. Really good line from Wilson. Just tries to stab it through, but there's too much on it. They are still able to create numbers and holes for their big runners to run into, the Saints.
I've warned them about anybody running in, taking stuff into their own hands.
And he's been picked on form. James Wilson over and above. Ben Foden, superb last week. He's been excellent, really, all season, and we know he can fill in pretty much everywhere. In the meantime, it's up to Myler to claw back some points, and there is a record on the line here, which we'll tell you about in just a moment. It's good from Stephen Myler, who claims the record for the most Premiership points here at Franklin's Gardens. 601, just 1 point more than Mr. Grayson.
Yeah, but it's all about how many games. Well done him.
How many games he got?
It's nice to see Stephen blossom as a goal kicker, to be honest. He's really stepped up to the mark. Last 18 months he's been on top of his game, so he deserves it. Well done him.
Yeah, he's been terrific, hasn't he? Always keeping that scoreboard ticking.
Just as important for Wood then to regather and make sure they clear their lines.
He had to go really high because the pressure was coming on with the tackle. Gonover's taken that nicely and shaken off the defenders as well. Youngs, Parling, fumble. That's 5 tries and a bonus point for Saracens, the quickest bonus point this season, we understand. 38 points to 7 against London Welsh at the break. Still Harlequins leading Newcastle by the 3 points in the other game. And don't forget, of course, coming up at 5:30, the kick-off at Kingside between Gloucester and Bath. And tomorrow's excitement features Wasps against London Irish at the Rico.
Massive scrum now, because this is within Owen Williams' range. Just need to get the ball out as quickly as possible, but probably not as out of control as that.
Well, it's pretty quick. Futuliti having to do some tidying work. Salvi straight over the top of the ball, scavenging. And work right now. Going through the roof from the Saints pack. Laws breaks back on this short side and drives it up over the 10-metre line.
Use it!
North chasing. Tate fielding. And heading infield. Williams. Ken Pesey chasing back. Wilson has a better angle.
Smart play that from Owen Williams, because the temptation, the opposition down to 14 men. Reasonably quick ball, defensive line, a little bit in tatters in front of you would be to play. Sticking to the game plan, putting pressure on Northampton, drilling it into the corner, and they can start again from this line out.
Possession that might just surprise a few. Saints with the bulk of the ball, but it is with Kitchener and now with Youngs. And Williams again testing out the players in the backfield. Pesey underneath it this time and counter-attacking to very good effect. His feet go so quickly, don't they? Side to side, keeping the options open. Burrell has got North outside him in a lot of space, and he's going to outstrip Scully here. Scully chasing him down, but North still running hard up to the 22-metre line. Futuliti half court with the ball.
Didn't Futuliti do well to get that away?
Myler for Burrell. He's isolated. George North is there, but nobody else is. Some heavy counter-rocking from the Tigers. And lucky to keep hold of it. And Waller did well to hang on to that as well. The advantage is with Northampton. Back it comes for Day. Wilson. Wood. Laws. Building nicely. Myler for Manoa. Just looking for the weighted pass. Hayward did so well. Waller on the shoulder. This is where the Saints work so nicely. The chemistry between backs and forwards just terrific. And then JP Doyle loses his patience and comes back for a side entry at the ruck some time ago.
Might have been a little bit harsh on Graham Kitchener, this penalty, because the man he's trying to clear out goes off his feet, he's on his knees. Just didn't go directly behind the ball, and that's what JP Doyle's decided. Gives them an opportunity to go to the corner. They've got a full complement of forwards on the field, Northampton.
Let him land. Let him land. Side entry as well.
Well, a score now would do wonders for morale and for the atmosphere here inside the Gardens. Hayward getting an awful lot more game time than he thought he would this afternoon, with Hartley dispatched for the elbow on Matt Smith in just the 17th minute of the match. 5 metres out and pressing.
Use it!
Just losing a few numbers off their feet, Northampton. They need to get more bodies so they can attack together. That's a lot better. They stays on their feet. Just need to get past Jordan Crane.
entirety of the Saints team, all except George Peacey, clustered very, very tight. Now a little bit of width, potentially, but still they go through the forwards up to that 5-metre line. That was a good burst, and Salvi again working hard, but a fabulous line cut by Luther Burrell. How straight was that? Quick delivery, knocked on in contact.
Two knock guns.
Oh, I just think that last one needed to go. Burrell had done such a good job as he ran the line to control his feet, tied in defenders. They got quick ball, and they just went one more direct hit off 9, whereas if it had gone through the hands, I think George Peacey, they might have had a better offer out wide. Look, great line by Burrell, ties in 3 defenders. Now, if that goes slightly wider, they've got men on the outside.
Tell you what, he came at some pace, didn't he, George North? And actually, you end up watching the ball, but he was stopped dead in his tracks under the post. Kitchener, I think it was. A fantastic hit. But the man advantage is not going to tell. You can't really tell with the packs head-to-head, 8 on 8, when they're fighting it out amongst each other and in those close exchanges. Luther Burrell, George North, they're the size of 2 men anyway. It's other areas of the field, like backfield coverage, where it's going to tell. Leicester are going to have to be cute in the second half to make sure they take advantage of having 1 man up.
Let's go. If you go across the back, he's going to come that way.
A little bit of breathing space, but how straight was the line, Grace, that Burrell ran? It's astonishing.
Yeah, had a couple of carries in the first half. That's an outstanding part of his game. If you set up a decent play for Luther, he will run absolutely bolt straight, which makes him hard to stop, and he's massive.
The impressive thing was, so many players would have overrun that because the ball didn't come out exactly how he thought it would, but he just shortened his stride, and it just bought an extra millisecond to allow him to re-accelerate onto the ball.
Scrambled possession, but now cleaner possession through the penalty.
Collapsing.
Well, the scrum's just becoming a pressure release valve for Leicester at the moment. That's an area that Dorian West will be plotting and planning so he can pass on that information in 6 minutes' time when the troops come in.
That's a rather disturbing statistic for Dorian West, as Williams clears it away safely up to the 10-metre line. This just the first of the derbies here on BT Sport for your pleasure this afternoon. 5:15, we're heading to Kingsholm for Gloucester against Bath. Another one that has history dripping through the fixture list.
Stay on the line, don't go past the line.
Last April, of course, a fiery encounter at Kingsholm. 5 yellows, 2 reds. Croft for Youngs. Ken Peacey. Somehow slipped through the first tackle. Manoa. Heading for Toulon next season is going to be a real loss. Myler prods it through. Anticipated well by Tate. Fritz-Willie feeds Wilson. Really good distance on that from James Wilson. It's a tricky bounce as well for Gonover. Crowd over there thought that might have had a suspicion of the forward pass about it, but that is an excellent clearance. Grace.
Yeah, well, it's in a little bit of to and fro there in the kicking game. With 40 men, it's hard to get backfield coverage. Ken Peacey and James Wilson highlighted there, spotted by Owen Williams. Leicester can't be afraid to do that, because if they play in Northampton's half, they're having scrums in Northampton's half, that clear dominance will come through, either in penalties or maintaining possession and putting the Saints under severe pressure.
Less than 4 minutes to go to the break now. Hayward refocusing and zeroing in on Tom Wood. Gonover racing in. It's gone off the shoulder of Peacey. Forwards off the shoulder of Peacey.
Good challenge in the air. A big area of Ken Peacey's game that's really improved. He's looked very dangerous ball in hand so far in the first half. He always looks like he's on the edge of making a break. He isn't a big man, but that's a part of the game that You have to learn when you come to this this part of the world. It wouldn't be natural to Nicky Goniver and Ken Pesey before they arrived in these parts.
No, there's plenty of it here, that's for sure. Hat-trick for Ken Pesey last week against the Italians.
They're just going to keep it in, aren't they? They're just going to try and
Number 2 standing on
every
retreat.
time they go down for a scrum now,
2 Northampton standing up on retreat.
get another penalty.
16.
It's that 5 now in a half. It's just huge for the overall landscape of the game. Every time they get a penalty, they can use this man to kick to the corner, or if he's within range, go for the sticks.
Newcastle taking the lead at the stoop. Alassana Tuolangi, former Tiger, with his first try for the Falcons. They lead by 7 points to 3 at half-time. Harlequins without a number of key men, of course. Chris Robshaw out for a considerable period of time as Salvi's taken out off the ball. That's the tackler committed as Burrell tries to bat away the attentions of Matt Smith.
Advantage over, not gone.
Inside ball for Hayward. Had to take it from a standing start, though. No real momentum generated.
Use it.
Northampton, remember, having won that semi-final in May. That was their first win in 11 meetings over Leicester. Prior to that, Tigers have had the measure of their opposition.
More than 10, come on by the winger.
Chances here, though. Burrell. The outside arc, Ken Pesey carving through the middle, slipping off the tackle of Tom Youngs. Oh, he's not dropped that. Really unfortunate, having made such good ground. Looks like we might have to bring in Sean Davey once more.
Check the tackle. Yeah, will do.
So much pressure on that man, isn't there? Particularly now.
It's Croft's arm.
Particularly harsh if that was pulled up just a little bit. Slipping over the top. Perhaps there is a call for it.
Yellow card for that. Second high tackle of the half. Second high tackle.
This is going to be yellow for Tom Croft. It's a cumulative thing. He's paid for the fact that that's 2 high tackles in the 38 minutes that we've played. So Leicester now down to 14 as we head towards the break. Not just the man advantage, but of course chance of points as well from one of the sharpest kickers in the league.
Yeah, you're pretty good. I haven't had any problems so far.
Vital points for Northampton as they head to half-time. Stephen Myler keeping them in touch.
There's now that ability with the numbers level going into those first, 8 minutes of the second half. That will be what Northampton are targeting, to start really, really big. Try and swing that psychological battle their own way.
Wilson says that'll do for now. Well, we promised you fireworks here at Franklin's Gardens. I think we've had that. Another red card for Dylan Hartley, his second in Saints colours. How damaging will it prove? Leicester dominating at scrum time, but Myler keeping the Saints in this. Tigers, remember, down to 14 men for the early part of the second half. Northampton 6, Leicester Tigers 7 at half-time.
I'm saying is Jason Robinson was the best winger ever.
Oh, here we go.
No, but he was.
So did you miss playing at all?
Nah, not really. Don't think about it, to be honest.
Doors closing.
Come on, Ryan! Come on!
Doors closing.
Can someone push number 8, please?
Messi can surge forward now. Out to Neymar. Messi! You just can't write scripts like this.
EA Sports. It's in the game. Get the ultimate experience on Xbox.
The Got the Washing Machine Fix Shop.
The Unexpected Bills Shop.
The people you can talk to shop.
With a personal loan from the Money Shop, you could borrow up to £1,000, subject to credit and affordability checks, and pay back over 2 to 6 months.
They're just down the high street shop.
The Personal Loan Shop. The Money Shop.
Nothing beats finishing off your Christmas shopping with a European TomTom sat-nav with map updates for life for just £79. Offer ends Wednesday. Great gifts from Halfords.
I see the dawn of a new beginning. This time we can go home. 'Cause we belong to
Join us at Autosport International and the Performance Car Show, where the world of motorsport meets performance road cars. Get close to amazing racing and road cars and experience the live action arena at the NEC Birmingham from the 8th to the 11th of January. Don't miss out. Book your tickets today.
This is Alpecin Caffeine Shampoo for men. Take a good look because it's moving fast. In fact, it sold over 2 million bottles in Germany last year alone. To find out why, get down to leading supermarkets and pharmacies. Alpecin Caffeine Shampoo. German engineering for your hair.
Something is coming that is far beyond you and I. Remember this for eternity. Exodus, Gods and Kings.
This is four-wheel drive ability fused with urban agility. This is adventure advanced. This is the Mitsubishi ASX.
Mitsubishi Intelligent Motion.
What's important to you when buying a sofa?
I want real quality, something that's going to last.
All our sofas are built on frames using solid hardwood. Sofa Store, we do that.
Sport. We all talk about it, but I get to live it. I get the VIPs from A to B. Is this the closest you get to sport? No, that's Betway. Live streaming, live odds, bet in play. Because whatever you think you know, right now, anything could happen.
With a free bet worth up to £50. Live sport, bet your way at betway.com.
The Aviva Premiership Rugby Final, 30th of May 2015. Be part of it.
Classique, Le Mal, Fragrances by Jean-Paul Gaultier.
On a clear day, you can see the pitch from here.
A very animated Jim Mallender in the Northampton Saints dressing room because the home side trail the Leicester Tigers 7-6 at half-time. That penalty try, a red card, Dylan Hartley off the field of play early on, has put the Northampton Saints under huge, huge pressure. Well, I'm sure this weekend's games and Christmas are at the forefront of your minds, but after Christmas, when you're ready to relax a bit, we can bring you another doubleheader. Next Saturday, Bath Rugby against the Exeter Chiefs. And then once that is done, we are down to Twickenham for big game 7, Harlequins against the Northampton Saints. That is from 4:15 live here on BT Sport. And then on the Sunday, Gloucester take on Wasps down at Kingsholm. Well, we always thought this was going to be a lively affair. Alex Corbisiero, we didn't anticipate it was going to be quite so lively. The big talking point of that first half, the red card for Dylan Hartley. How did you see it?
Tough one. As a player, obviously you're supposed to draw the line and not have an opinion, but I do have an opinion. I don't think it's a red card. I think JP initially had it right. I think he called it a yellow. I think Sean Davey egged him on into a red. It was pretty frustrating. I think it's put a dampener on the game, ruined the game. Yes, Dylan Hartley's lashed out. I think Matt Smith deserves an Oscar here, just diving on the floor. We're not footballers. But, you know, that's my opinion. Slow motion, nothing ever looks good. But I don't think it was hard enough, intent enough to be a red card, in my opinion. I think JP had it right at first. Sean Davey obviously egged him on, and that's where we are now. And I think we can't cry about it. We just got to get on with that and move forward. I think we'll talk about it after the game.
The great thing as a current player is you can say something like that. Of course, Sean Davey called it as he saw it. That's what he's allowed to do, of course, as the TMO. I think looking at it, you could argue that it was a yellow card. You could certainly argue that it was a red card. What we do know is that in a situation like that, Dylan Hartley was reckless, shouldn't really have lifted his elbow. But it came from sustained Leicester Tigers pressure. The Tigers have targeted the Northampton Saints pack. They've targeted the scrum, and they are dealing out quite a lesson to the Saints pack.
Yeah, I think that's been Leicester's big weapon this game so far. I think even with the man down, Saints have been able to play some rugby, and I think Leicester have been able to turn the screw at set-piece time. I think it's small details that Leicester are doing well, that Saints we usually do well, that we probably need to go in there, have a chat and fix at half-time. You know, I think that the message is scrum for duration. Don't be the first to give up. Don't be the first to move your feet. Stay in there, hold in there, sink, and hopefully ride it out, because Leicester right now are turning that screw and putting that pressure on, and that's their real weapon in this game.
It's so significant, isn't it? Early on in the season, Marcus Ayerza, Dan Cole not around. Tigers are struggling. That scrum, of course, led to the penalty try, and who's in the front row? Ayerza and Cole are back. They are back to being a formidable Type 5 unit, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a world-class outfit, and there's no doubt about it. When you've got that many internationals and a team that expects that sort of dominance, when they get up to full strength, that's what we're going to do. I think we need to be a little bit more streetwise, a little bit more detailed, because, again, we've got a pretty polished outfit usually ourselves, and I think we'll be needing to sort of sharpen up, or it's going to be another painful half up front for the boys.
Well, certainly there was a point when you thought the Tigers could run away with it. The Saints are within a point. What do they have to do in this second half?
I think we need to be smart. We need to play in the right areas of the field. We need to try and avoid putting that front row pressure on us in anywhere in sort of kicking range to let Leicester kick the points. And when we hold on to the ball and we get down in their 22, you know, we've been close a few times of getting a try. And I think we need to make play smart, not overplay. You know, conserve our energy because we're a man down, but then also look to play in the right areas of the field.
Certainly, the Saints need to be as animated in the second half as you have been watching that first half. You've been thumping the desk at some of the things that have been going on. The second half promises to be very lively indeed. Not a great deal of brotherly love on the field of play, but off the field, the Saints supporters and, of course, the Tigers supporters are enjoying themselves. The second half of this East Midlands derby is just a few minutes away. Don't you go away.
At Curry's PC World this Christmas, you'll find the perfect gift for everyone. This Panasonic Hi-Fi lets music lovers listen to DAB radio or stream music wirelessly with Bluetooth for just $149. This 28-inch Samsung has Freeview built in, so everyone can watch what they want. A great second TV at only $159. For £39, this Roku streaming stick makes any TV smart, giving access to iPlayer, ITV Player and Netflix. And for adventurous types, this GoPro 3 white action camera comes with accessories to help capture every angle for $189. At Curry's PC World, we start with you.
Messi can surge forward now. Out to Neymar. Messi! You just can't write scripts like this.
EA Sports. It's in the game. Get the ultimate experience on Xbox.
This Christmas, their perfect gift is waiting for them at watchshop.com. Thousands of watches, designer brands, brilliant savings, and next day delivery or click and collect. For the perfect gift this Christmas, it's watchshop.com. Every time.
Better switch it off, lads. Dave thinks there's a better way to plan for the future than bending space and time.
Visit quickquid.co.uk for more information.
How much time do we have?
Car to the airport picks me up at 8.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to hurry.
I like your dress.
It likes you back.
Yeah, we never needed anything back then.
We needed everything back then.
You know, we should go back.
Yes, we should. Dolce & Gabbana, the one.
Give a little love. Give a little love, and it all comes back to you.
Claim up to £80 cashback on selected Canon products this Christmas. Search Canon Winter Cashback.
What's important to you when buying a sofa?
Well, I don't want all those charges for extras, and I want it delivered free.
There's free delivery on all our sofas. Sofa Store, we do that.
Now, this is what Christmas is all about, isn't it? Being with the family. And of course, plenty of rugby to look forward to.
Dear, you promised.
I know I said I wouldn't mention the rugby, love, but have you seen some of the stars I'll be playing with?
Absolute magical stuff!
This Christmas, we're dishing up some of the biggest matches in rugby.
The only thing you'll be dishing up, dear, are the Sprouts. The Aviva Premiership Rugby season continues next weekend, only on BT Sport.
All I'm saying is Jason Robinson was the best winger ever.
Oh, here we go.
No, but he was.
Leicester Tigers have the edge. They lead by 1 point, 7 points to 6 over the Northampton Saints. They lead by one player out on the field of play, 15 men to Northampton Saints 14. Dylan Hartley sent off a red card. Dorian West, how do you view that red card for Dylan Hartley?
Well, to be honest, it looked a bit harsh. I think Dylan was getting pulled and he swung his arm, and I think he slightly caught Matt Smith, who seemed to make the most of it. It seems to be the par for these sort of games these days, that you get incidents like that can turn a match. But fair play to the lads, they've worked really hard, and I think we've been the better team even when we were down to 14 men, and we've put Leicester under a bit of pressure. The scrum's been pretty dominant, but we're in the mix still.
What was it, very briefly, what was the message at half-time?
We've got to keep working hard. We feel that we've got a real chance, particularly they're down to 14 men now. They've had a couple of high tackles that look pretty dangerous to me, maybe just as dangerous as a little swinging arm there from Dylan. So we'll see what happens.
Great stuff. Thanks, Dorian. Well, there we go. That's the view from the Northampton Saints. They've got a mountain to climb. Ali, back to you.
Always is. Thanks, Babes.
Very interesting opinions, aren't they? A little swinging arm, some dangerous high tackles. Everybody will have a view. Tigers starting out with 14 men, remember, with Tom Croft in the bin. Saints continuing with 14 men with Dylan Hartley red-carded. And here goes Wilson through the middle. They have worked incredibly hard, the Saints, as they have to. Outnumbered, but at least parity on the field for the time being from their perspective, as Haywood carries the attack into the heart of the orange-shirted defence. It is terribly bright, the Tigers kit, isn't it? We've described them before as traffic attendants, I think, in matches gone by, as Christian Day feeds it on nicely. Burrell to Wilson. First tackle of the afternoon made by Miles Benjamin. Tom Wood. Myler for Manoa. A real tussle on the ground. North. All the way through there. Good hit from Anthony Allen. A weight mismatch, but technique excellent. And Fotuali'i putting the Saints into the right areas.
Yeah, good decision from Fotuali'i. It all stagnated after that really good tackle on George North by Anthony Allen. And there's no point just trying to keep banging against that wall. Much better now to put pressure on this Tigers line-out, shorn of Tom Croft.
Incredibly feisty atmosphere on the pitch. Great noise in and around the stadium. The theatre, everything you would expect from a fixture of this kind, and Saints have the ball. Carrying it hard into Jordan Crane. Courtney Lawes having to check his run. He's gathering quite a head of steam, but now they look to straighten through Tom Wood. Fotuali'i whips it away. PC has been wriggling through tackles all evening.
Did so well to turn towards his own side. PC there held, facing the Leicester sticks.
Manoa again, Carling with the tackle alongside Jordan Crane. It's taking two to bring them down. Myler, Burrell. And Salvi trying to make a menace of himself. Here goes Waller, keeps it alive. Courtney Lawes is there, 5 metres out. Franklin's Gardens in full-throated roar as Christian Day clatters forwards. Myler.
We've got massive numbers out to the left here now. Northampton, if they can get quick ball.
3 men queuing up. Tigers looking to turn possession over. Youngs is controlling operations because they have it. And he's giving himself an extra couple of yards to make good the exit.
It's just that ability to tie in extra numbers by the Saints, and Alex Waller doing a really good job. Caught coming around the corner, could easily have died with this and gone into touch, but he stays up with that left arm, holding himself off the floor, and then he gets straight back to his feet and makes the clear out. And then they have numbers here if they could have got this ball quickly, but just as the pressure comes from behind, see Callum Clark can't hold it on the floor. How does it get knocked out? It is just as he tried to push it back, he lost control. Nothing sinister in that.
A change at hooker. Tom Youngs is coming off, replaced by the Italian international Leonardo Ghiraldini. And Miles Benjamin, by the way, is on for Blaine Scully on the Tigers wing. Callum Clark this time rises highest. He's had issues in this fixture himself. We cast our minds back to the LV Cup final of 2012, that horrible incident involving Rob Hawkins' elbow. Clark cleared out of the way by Graham Kitchener. Just asking the question there. Carried up by Tom Wood. His try has gone down in folklore here at the Gardens in that semi-final from May. Carried onwards by Haywood, always looking to get the ball away and continue the momentum. Fotuali'i searching for space.
It's becoming a bit the Wild West in some of those breakdowns, isn't it? Referee not making many decisions.
Fotuali'i feeds it infield in his met by Jordan Crane. Christian Day keeping this very, very tight, hoping to take the legs out of the Tigers defenders. Fotuali'i to Waller, who rides that tackle from Crane well. Inching forwards, but it is a matter of inches at the moment. Wood.
So narrow, the Northampton defence. You know they're going to try and attack.
Brilliant handling from Myler.
Straight down the middle. Myler stayed down after that, though.
Use it. 10th phase of possession. Clark looking to spread width on it. Mafu is out there. They need to ship this. A score worthy of a winger. A score from the man who did it in the Premiership final at Twickenham. Alex Waller, the Gardens hero. Saints down a man without their skipper in front on the scoreboard.
The two props combining perfectly together. As the ball comes back, Leicester are tight. And Salesi Mafu doesn't panic, he doesn't just ship it on. He tempts, he takes the yards as long as possible and then creates an easy 2-on-1 on the outside. Benjamin overcommits. Really bright play by Waller.
No recommendations.
Had Benjamin stepped in, he still could have made that pass. He could have released it late, but he lets Benjamin make the decision. He knows there's a front five forward on the inside of Benjamin, and he just lets Benjamin go and dives under in the hole he's just left.
Well, he knows when to strike, doesn't he? Alex Waller, he has an eye for the occasion, as we see Stephen Myler recovering from a battering.
He's a very good footballer, Alex Waller, outside his work. He's still developing as a scrummager. Stephen Myler there getting the ball away. That ball that's got away in the line of the defence.
HIA.
And Matt Smith with the challenge, which may need looking at again. Always difficult when the attacking player is dipping into the tackle. Very low to the ground as he gathered and gave the ball.
He's gone down to collect the ball and flick it on. Matt Smith committing into the tackle. That's the nature of the game. It's a collision sport. People don't stand still and allow you to tackle them in a textbook manner all the time. The landscape changes in front of you. Hopefully Steve Myler will be able to clear his head, and that's not the end of his afternoon.
Lovely hands from him, nonetheless, just dipping. Just everything in this game is going to get analysed and analysed, isn't it? Every time we come.
So Ben Foden is the man who's been brought on in Myler's place, but James Wilson will now slot in at fly half, as he did last week against Treviso.
As he did for the try, which he did extremely well to spot the space on the outside.
Just wide, not enough bend on it from wide outs for James Wilson. They have levelled things up in terms of tries scored, and it was Alex Waller's moment. Mafu, the provider, and he enjoyed his moment.
It's just the comfort of all the forwards for Northampton on the ball, isn't it? Not so much the easy balls through the hands, but just making decisions, leaving their passes really late. We saw Waller with that offload earlier on.
Use.
Gonover chasing in, challenged by PC, and it's gone forwards. Saints will look to counter-attack. Burrell. Good tackle from Dan Cole, who's straight to his feet to compete for the ball, and Fotuali'i does what Ben Youngs has been doing very effectively. Nicely probing kick. Matt Tate smashed in the tackle, but preserving the ball.
It's quality play from both sides. The kick from Fotuali'i. Tate did really well with a difficult bounce.
Excellent take from Wilson, chasing forwards. Just 1 minute left on the yellow card, by the way, for Tom Croft as the Tigers regain the ball.
Turnover, play.
Wilson looking for space in between Gonover and Tate and finding just that. Grace, what have you found?
Well, there's no doubt Northampton are more dangerous ball and have the recognition of space. That's George North in at first receiver, 4 men tight, 1 pass, cuts out 2 men, puts them into the wide channel. Northampton happy for their forwards to stay wide and handle the ball. 3 on 1, Mafu does well to straighten. Brilliant finish, Alex Waller. All started from George North doing something other than running over the top of people. Brilliant.
And he does it so well, but the ability to get the ball away, ship it through the hands, they're so comfortable with the crisp handling here at Saints. Obviously been well drilled over the years, Grace. You might not claim the credit. I'll hand you a bit so that you can just bask in the glory for
You're
a
a
short
nice
time.
man. You've got to have the mindset too, though. You know, brilliant upskill in the players, but you have to have the mindset that you are going to attack, and backs to the wall. Captain gone for the afternoon. It's one of the ways they're going to win.
As Tom Croft comes back on, Leicester just haven't been down in Northampton's 22 in this second half, actually, since Tom Croft went off. And that's been the difference. Northampton have played their percentages right, which means they've been allowed to actually play some rugby in the right areas, away from the danger of this man at the scrum.
So Giraldini, the new Leicester Tigers hooker, signed from Treviso in the summer. Kitchener with the take. Allen on the crash ball, and he's hit by a combination of Clark and Waller. Here is Giraldini. Williams. Hangs long in the air. Foden. Nice injection of pace there from Hayward, and George North is away down the left.
On play.
Tigers very quick up in defence. I say very quick, they were hanging a handful of metres offside. That looks like a forward pass as well, but Samu Manoa carries it over halfway. JP Doyle unmoved. Laws. Game being played at breakneck pace at the moment. Foden. Day. North. Round the outside of Benjamin. Straight over the top of Matt Tate, but Tate doing enough. Dislodging the ball as North hit the deck.
It's a really good attack from Northampton. North can't hold it. Good carry, great tackle from Tate. But it's Northampton's ability to create numbers on the outside. And who's doing that? The guys in the centre, just drifting off and tying, holding those end defenders of Leicester and creating opportunities for this man to get outside his wing.
So Stephen Myler is restored. Ben Foden comes off. They've also sent on Gareth Denman, who's going to come on in place of Salesi Ma'afu at tight head. So Hayward and Denman lining up alongside Waller in the front row for the Saints now, and Denman straight down to business. This, of course, the area of real dominance from the Tigers in that opening 40 minutes. This, a very different outcome.
Look at Denman's reaction as well. He's been stewing, watching his teammates getting pumped at the scrum, and he's been waiting for that first scrum when he comes on. Look at this, just a leg drive, gets underneath Ayarza and keeps the legs going.
Denman just signed a new contract with the club, one of those announced in the week. And And he's been waiting, hasn't he? Waiting for his moment. He started last week. I should say the game in Treviso's on the bench last week here at the Gardens, but an instant impact. And the chance of points for Stephen Myler, who, having recovered from his unfortunate incident, is ready to take this on from the left-hand touchline. He's done exactly what James Wilson did not so long ago. So 3 points begging. 4 points remain the difference as Robert Barbieri is sent on by Richard Cockerell. And Tom Croft is making way. So a little bit more grunt and muscle as the athletic, rangy, speedy Croft departs. Saints clearly intent on playing a lot of rugby, despite their captain being off the field. They are scoring a lot of points this season, 30 points a game on average. They've scored more than 100 points more than the Tigers this season. That is some tackle from Ken Pesey. The ball still with those in orange. Allen. Good decision from Wilson to let that drop for the cleaner gather. And very good kick as well. Williams couldn't take it cleanly, but the Tigers come away with it. Little chip over the top from Matt Tate.
Okay, you contacted for the ball, that's fine, but then you've tackled them, okay? You can't do that.
Oh, Owen Williams pulls out. That's just one of those. There's no way Stephen Myler can react to that, is there? Probably by the letter of the law, the right decision, but really tough on Stephen Myler.
Just two tremendously brave fly half challenging for a ball in the air.
Yours, no yours.
Very
all
polite.
came off legs and bodies and tackle them right the ball.
Leicester will be glad that last penalty didn't go over, because that would have made it a 7-point gap, and even 14 against 15 as it is now. Northampton have the upper hand.
Yeah, Leicester have put Barbieri into the centres, and that's one of the things they've been lacking without Tuolangi or Mulipola. No one to add a bit of bite in midfield with their carrying. Barbieri should be able to do that.
Smith for Tate. Digs it through and Gonover is after it, but the ball will beat everybody. £71 points to 7. A record Premiership score for Saracens against Welsh. Another absolute pounding for the Exiles, who are still only with a single point to their name this season. Quins leading Newcastle now by 15 points to 7. Tate feeding Benjamin. Hasn't had a chance to stretch his legs so far this afternoon. George North grapples him to the ground. Williams for Barbieri, and that's fallen rather fortunately for Jeff Parling.
Rock 6.
Saints spreading out to their right, and the ball swung in the other direction. Salvi, oh dear! That was an almighty tackle from Samu Manoa, but it was a little on the high side.
Oh, the referee's right there, he's not asked to look at it. What a hit! Sometimes difficult to wrap your arms when you hit this hard, because the player literally bounces off you, but he does wrap his arm. That is one of the best hits you'll see all season.
Stop drooling, Ben.
We're going to miss him next year.
Yeah, he has been extraordinary for this club, Samu Manoa. Off to Toulon, James Wilson making way now, and Ben Foden restored.
You must hold your space. Give the gap.
So Foden looking to reassert himself Not just for country, but for club too, with Wilson chosen ahead of him today. Looking to get back in the England reckoning.
See Cole on that far side, popping up slightly. Certainly Denman's added something since he's come on. I think probably some of the conversations that Dorian West had at half-time, maybe trying to crowd Leicester a little bit, make Cole stand a little bit taller. He's a tall man anyway, Cole. If you can crowd him and then Waller try and get underneath him.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Quickly out from the Saints, Fotuali'i swiftly away, Burrell. Fotuali'i again, the urgency and the raw-boned aggression of Tom Wood.
Yeah, over the gate, through the gate.
Good work from Barbieri.
6.
JP Doyle was happy with the contest for the ball and the way that Barbieri did his work.
Fotuali'i, who's having a great game, by the way, does a really good job realising there's no one else there of getting in. He gets pulled away. Does that foot? He's right. That ball's out because Manoa doesn't stay in. So you're allowed to come round the outside. Had Manoa kept that on the inside of his foot, that would have been a penalty to Northampton.
Do it.
And just as they were building a little bit of momentum as well now, Tigers have drawn that sting. Matt Smith off, replacements into the pack as well. Michele Rizzo on in the front row at loose head for Ajerza. There he is, another Italian alongside Giraldini. Two of the Azzurri playing in Tigers colours now, and Fraser Balmain is on as well, so an all-new front row.
Big call, because Ajerza looked to have got the upper hand again on that last scrum. First time Tigers have been in Northampton's 22 in this half, and they go for the Route 1 drive.
You detached! You detached!
Christian Day is wrapping up this Tigers drive quite nicely by himself. A little bit of support from his mates now.
Tackle after the maul, therefore Leicester ball. Tackle after the maul.
Well, what he's saying is the reason he let Christian Day compete was because the maul had detached. So he said Christian Day then becomes the tackler, and he brought it to ground, so it's not a collapsed maul. Because they weren't bound at the shoulders there, it was just the hand of Barbieri that became a tackle.
You came right, no problem, they detached, you tackle the guy, unplayable, their ball, yep.
Christian Day, very much the Mr. Reliable of the Saints pack. Underrated, goes about an awful lot of unseen work that
Crouch!
Picked every week by Jim Malander, if he possibly can. Sam Dickinson is the man on the bench, by the way, covering the second row. Picked up by Crane. That's the 22-metre line there. Williams trying to duck through. Youngs looking for somebody to come clattering through. He's found Rizzo. Burrell makes the tackle. Burns, Freddie Burns. Brilliant from Burns, 5 metres short. He's onto the field with a change up in midfield. Smith is off. On goes Dan Cole. The Tigers threatening now, looking for their second score. Driven up by Crane. Saints, all hands on deck.
Well, Miles Benjamin's on his own, one-on-one with, I think, Stephen Myler. He would have fancied that.
Gonover! That'll do. The pressure telling. Leicester Tigers finding a response to this raucous environment, this hostile environment. And Nicky Gonover, who's been going through something of a drought recently in terms of try scoring, started the season with a bang, and he's on target in arguably the most significant fixture of the lot so far.
Well, first visit to the 22 from the Tigers. Rizzo's carry is huge, gets them on the front foot, and off that play, Freddie Burns using Miles Benjamin on his outside, or Gonover on his outside, I think it was. And then Gonover gets back into position on this left-hand side, and it's just a case of numbers. And the defenders being forced to make decisions. Foden has to stay tight. BC's not tight enough to him, creates the gap. and Gonover spots it.
Well, he's been their box of tricks, Nicky Gonover, but he's gone a little quiet in recent times. He scored that hat-trick against Newcastle early on, the opening day. And it's not been a day for the kickers. A one-point game. 18 minutes left to play. Dylan Hartley watching on, thoughts swirling after yet another red card. Is the ill discipline that dogs his career. And on comes Sam Dickinson. Christian Day making way. Alex Waller is off as well, replaced by his brother Ethan. Here's Benjamin. Phil Dowson on in the back row as well for Callum Clark. So almost all of the bench empty. Jamie Elliott still waiting to come on as far as Saints are concerned, but Tigers camped in their 22. Youngs gives that an almighty thwack. He's controlled that base pretty nicely so far this afternoon, although he was hoping for a bit more distance on that one. And Sam Dickinson, back from injury last month, made waves last season at number 8. All the way inside the England Saxons camp as well from Rotherham a little while ago. Hayward finds Dickinson, it's tapped backwards, and nasty one for Lee Dixon to deal with.
Yeah, just by bringing Dickinson on, you lose a little bit of the line-out prowess of Christian Day, but with Croft gone, Barbieri on, the Saints probably feel they can do that, but they must give Dixon good ball to get that midfield going forward.
Myler for Burrell, a standing start. Owen Williams making a good hit. Courtney Laws into Anthony Allen, who does his best to turn him. Dickinson. And that's what he does bring. Gain line aggression. Tackle! Tom Wood upended. Myler. Burrell. Picked up quickly by Dickinson. Lovely offload, and here goes Foden. Foden going for the line. What a try from Ben Foden. What a score from the Saints. Franklin's Gardens rocking to its very foundations.
Just brilliant in attack, Northampton. So sharp on the ball and the ability to spot the opportunity. Stephen Myler hands the ball in and out. Foden looking to make an impact off the bench. What a finish that was. They hold their width really well. They have players, they're prepared to trust the players in midfield. The ball gets to Myler here, out the back. Burrell drives in. Stephen Myler rolls around the corner, right on top of Benjamin, in and out, and then Foden straight down the 5-metre line, forces Tate to make a decision by carrying the ball in two hands. Brilliant finish.
You're right, it's that lack of hesitation, isn't it? Once they see an opportunity, bang, the accelerator goes down, they go through the gears. That is phenomenal handling from Myler under pressure, but he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to pull that last defender in on him, put himself under pressure, because then he knew it was a 2-on-1 with a fullback. And a really smart finish from Ben Foden.
On the score sheet last week against Treviso. But another tough kick for Stephen Myler. Just not quite working out. Normally the ball on a piece of string, not so much today.
Don't underestimate the impact that Luther Burrell's making as well, because every time he carries, he's pulling in that extra defender, he's getting momentum and front foot ball for the next wave to run onto.
And he's now matched up against a Leicester midfield, which is Freddie Burns, Owen Williams and Allen at outside centre, which is skillful but probably a bit fragile.
Brilliant take from Tom Wood. Searching for those extra metres that will make all the difference. Saints leading by 4. 13.5 minutes left to go at this pulsating encounter. Dixon has been doing quite a lot of running backwards since he came on. And good hefty clearance finds Matt Tate. Freddie Burns was outside him, but instead he goes high. And this is Dowson.
16 offside.
Just a bit of hesitation. Burns playing out of position. Tate wanted him to chase it straight away. And it gave a lot of grass in front, and now Northampton can play.
North sensing an opportunity and putting his foot on the accelerator for a minute. Still they probe that short side down that 16. Left flank. It's drawn a few dividends. 16
offside, ahead of the kick advancing.
Geraldini has given away the penalty here.
Leicester just can't get hold of the ball and keep hold of the ball. They've had one visit to Northampton's 22 this half. Scored a fairly easy try. Apart from that, they've been on the back foot, defending for their lives, getting ripped apart by Northampton in the wide channels.
Worth remembering that although they lost the 2013 final when Dylan Hartley saw red, Northampton, of course, won the semi when Mafu was sent off. The difference, of course, being that they only had 23 minutes to last back then with 14 men. This time, playing for more than an hour with 14 men. What a win this would be if they could pull it off.
Well, this is ideal for them, isn't it? Get it into the corner, grind Leicester, stay down here for as long as possible. Start to just harness a little bit of panic amongst the Leicester players because they can't get down into the Northampton 22.
Wonderful noise reverberating around Franklin's Gardens. One of those venues where you just know you're going to feel like you've been somewhere significant, somewhere important. A bit like Welford Road on match day, a bit like Kingsholm on match day. Always a crowd in good voice and playing their part in proceedings as you feel the Saints are responding to them today.
The ideal man now playing at 9 for this sort of game. That wasn't his error. As two players collided, he was left with no options, but it's that tight game that's so difficult here at Franklin's Gardens to combat when you're a few points down. They've got that 4-point cushion.
Dixon issuing the instructions as a little pod of forwards breaks away, and Mike Hayward is wrapped up by Geraldini. Trying to punch the holes close to the fringes as Dowson carries. Dixon from Myler running nicely onto the ball, and just a suggestion of taking his eye off it from Ken Pesey. Youngs bangs it away.
Yeah, but look who's got it.
Here's North. Crackle of anticipation everywhere as he sets off. Even the great giant Welshman can't make it over halfway this time. Myler spotted some space in behind Gonover. Tate. It's an interesting one. Foden.
15 turnover.
Tigers have it.
Oh, what a tackle and turnover that was. I think it was Salvi in there. As he was cleared out, he took the ball with him.
Crane with what looked like a fumble. JP Doyle doesn't seem too fussed about it. Here goes Benjamin. Little step on the gas and he's away. Lightning speed from Miles Benjamin, cut down 7 metres out. Youngs, numbers queuing up on the outside. Tate to Geraldini, and away for Gonover's second. Made by the thrust from Miles Benjamin. It's the left winger who touches down for 2 in the game.
How quickly things can turn. One moment of brilliance. A back row to start with. Unbelievable turnover. And then another bit of brilliance on the right wing from Miles Benjamin. Look at this tackle and how he gets back to his feet, and as he's cleared out, just takes the ball with him, sneaks it out. You've then got a defensive line that's not organised. A bit of room on the outside, but that took some doing. Good fend to the shoulder area. Runs through a couple of players, and then he's got 5 Northampton players who've all had to be dragged towards the ball, and it creates a huge overlap on the outside, and they just managed to get it through the hands to Gonover.
It's all about the finish. That makes you smile, doesn't it? That was the least slick of them, but the most important, that it got to Gonover on the outside. What a run from Miles Benjamin, the stop and go on Dowson.
And this time the conversion is a good one from Freddie Burns, who's been waiting patiently.
And that's the first time in the game I can recall that Northampton aimlessly pushed the ball in behind Leicester and gave them an opportunity to take control from the counter-attack. They put it back to Ben Foden. England, what am I talking about? Northampton's backfield disorganised with being down to 14 men. Foden isolated, Leicester on the attack.
What a last 7 minutes or so we have for you now. 3 points the difference. If you are just joining us, Dylan Hartley shown a red card for an elbow to the face of Matt Smith on 17 minutes. Youngs again with a high-quality clearance. Dowson thinks about the quick one and then thinks twice, as Williams was chasing up fast to prevent it. Well, just 7 points have separated these two teams in the last 3 meetings. A catalogue of extraordinary goings-on in matches gone by. The feistiness and the aggression boiling over on so many different occasions. We've had Ashton against Manu Tuolangi, remember, in 2011, with the 2 red cards in a brawl at Welford Road in 2011. The red card for Dylan Hartley in the final, and again here today. All kinds of incidents as Samu Manoa cops it up in midfield, and Benjamin's immediately onto it on the 10-metre line.
Classic case of the man not expecting the ball. It wasn't called to him. The fly-half changed his mind, and he didn't stay alert. Put big pressure on Foden here in Coffin Corner.
Foden sauntering past the onrushing Michele Rizzo, and he's really let fly with that.
Brilliant full-back play, under pressure, didn't panic, made the step, and then what a clearance to halfway.
But suddenly Leicester in control of the ball and starting to gain control of the field. Great kick to push him back from Bren Youngs. As brilliant as the clearance was, it's Leicester ball, line out on the halfway line.
Those two guys so important to get and go forward, and Courtney Laws with the steal.
Here goes Dixon down that left flank. Let's not forget, when we're talking about carriers, the Tigers, of course, without Manu Tuolangi, without Logo Mulapola, 2 of those who get through an awful lot of ball carrying work. The penalty has gone Northampton's way. That's Leo Giraldini again, the second penalty he's given away in recent times. So just about, is it inside the 22? Just outside by the looks of things. 5:15, Kingsholm, Gloucester against Bath. You've almost had your fill of the East Midlands derby. It's time for the West Country pair to have a crack at each other.
Referee's called the maul now. Leicester can't pull it over, but the ball's on the floor.
Dixon for Wood. He's done a lot of carrying today, hasn't he? Important meters made at close quarters. Hayward picks it up. He's got lovely hands, Mike Hayward. Myler trying to free up Foden in the midfield. To the short side they go. Dickinson making a good burst. Lovely little dart inside from Jamie Elliott, who's up to within 5 metres, and then Dixon is caught in possession, but the penalty is awarded. Leicester not rolling away.
Yeah, it was against Parling. The tackle was legal. He sacked the scrum half, but as he stripped the ball, he hadn't got back to his feet.
Let me explain to you. Goal line. He's onside, but he hasn't tackle released. The penalty is tackle release. Okay? The penalty is tackle release.
Northampton's so good at coming late round the corner. Dickinson doing it then, got his hands free, through, behind the two defenders, made the offload. Almost impossible to defend.
Well, now they need their 16th man, or as it is today, their 15th man. Arguably the most significant line-out of the day for Mike Hayward, 5 metres out. Dickinson at the tail, nicely gathered. Samu Manoa poised, as he was last week, from exactly this kind of position. The drive is on. Tigers trying to disrupt by heading sideways.
Eddie has the ball. Hughes.
He sets it back. And again, it's Burrell who comes hammering up the middle on an incredibly straight line. Laws gets it away. Beautiful handling from Northampton. It's Elliott! Is that the match winner? Jamie Elliott off the bench in the dying minutes. Has he sealed this win against the odds?
Well, some brilliant handling again from Northampton backs, but the man who makes this try is that man, Luther Burrell. There's no one around him. He's got no right to make yardage here. He carries, and that means everyone getting up from the last ruck is coming around the corner, going forward, and all the Leicester players are going backwards. It creates the overlap. Smart handling, wonderful Northampton try.
And it's that ability. Forwards are a threat carrying the ball, but they are twice the threat if they're allowed to pass it. Brilliant from Dixon. Brilliant from Mike Hayward. Myler making a clinical pass again. It just creates space. The ball moves quicker than a defender ever can. Fantastic stuff.
Take his time. Take his time.
Saints supporters holding their breath until those final seconds as Elliott slithered through. Big kick. That one looks bang on the money. He's had his sighters. Myler lands the big one and takes the Saints out of reach of the penalty or the drop goal.
Oh, big players stand up when it counts. He helps make the try with the last bit of handling just to pull Tate in. He drags it back to Elliott, and then he has the nerve after this man slides over when he's not been kicking well to nail one from the touchline. Leicester now need a 5-pointer.
Saints scrambling everywhere. Dixon diving on it.
Saints so good in this aspect. Now they've got the ball, they'll slow it down. The forwards will just pick and go. Dixon will not go past the first channel, and they'll just wind the clock down, and Leicester will have to be forced into trying to overcommit and might give away a penalty.
Dixon happy to eat up those seconds. Dickinson stopped on the 10-metre line, but they're in no mood to do anything flash from here.
Anthony Allen just screaming at the referee's assistant to say watch them diving off their feet, because really that's one of the only chances Leicester have. If Northampton, in trying to slow the ball down, don't stay accurate at the clear out.
Dixon feeds Tom Wood, who created that magic moment in the semi-final with the try with only a handful of minutes left, just as Jamie Elliott appears to have done here this afternoon at the Gardens.
20 seconds.
20 seconds left to play. Saints should have this wrapped up.
Great control. Manoa not even taking any steps forward. No one's rushing in, giving Leicester any chance to get on the ball. They're latching onto each other. They're questioning the referee when it's time to kick it out. It will be now.
Dixon, away it goes, into the stands. A win of champion quality against the odds without their captain. What a victory for the Northampton Saints. Dylan Hartley's reckless ill-discipline aside, a hugely courageous, hard-working performance.